Welcome to another exciting episode of American Warrior Radio, coming to you since 2009. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, or National Guard or Reserves, you've come to the right place, American Warrior Radio. We're always efforting to bring you news, notes, interviews, and current events for all things military and veteran related. The bumper music for American Warrior Radio is provided by none other than combat veteran and mill hop artist Stephen Hobbs. Thank you, Stephen. With that said, let's kick the tires and light the fires and get this episode off the ground. Hi, everybody. Garrencone with American Warrior Radio, bringing you another excellent episode of Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country with none other than Dr. Scott Fairchild, HV Behavioral Health. This is important because we basically took the entire month of November and we focused it on healing the warrior to heal the country. We have with us our producer, John Lopez. Hi, John. He's also on AVET Project's board, and of course, Dr. Scott Fairchild. This is going to be interesting. I want you to pay close attention. You'll fix that, right? They'll fix it. They'll fix it.
I gotta leave it there.
I want you to pay close attention because we're kind of dealing with a crisis in the United States regarding keeping our military fully staffed. Wouldn't you say that's an issue right now, John?
It is. The Army recruitment numbers are not met.
And you, being a leader in the 715th MP company, you see the attitude of your newbies, of your new hires coming in.
So, in my opinion, the new generation, what we're getting right now, is facing new challenges. The new generation is different, right? And we have the old Army. I'm gonna give you one example, right? Maybe 30 years ago, right, when my uncle was in, maybe I got two uncles that did Army. If you do something, right, or you feel sick or whatever, typically is suck it up, right? You get 800 Motrin and drink water. And you probably get extra training. You feeling bad? I'm going to make you feel bad now. That was the mentality 30 years ago. Now, one of the things is like, and in my opinion, the welfare of my soldiers should be first. But it is not the Army culture. I don't know the other branches. I can only speak for the Army. But the Army culture is, mission first. But if I put my soldiers second, there's a lot of people, are facing financial issues, are facing medical issues, a death in the family, something like that. A lot of soldiers are borderline, and you don't even know it.
You've made a very good point when you said our soldiers that we're bringing into the military now are different. They're just different. And you say, well, a question is, how are they different and why are they different? Things change over generations. I recall back many years ago, I went over
Being the dinosaur you are.
Exactly. Went over to my son's baseball game. And I was working and I arrived a little bit late and I sat down next to two ladies who were there cheering for their kids. And, I leaned over and I said, can you tell me what's the score? Well, I thought I was a criminal. They said, what do you mean score? We don't keep score. We don't want to hurt the feelings of these young kids. And I said, ma'am, I'm a psychologist. And as soon as these young boys and young girls learn that life keeps score, the better off they will be. So many times we coddle our young veterans, our young soldiers-to-be,
sure.
We coddle them out of life. And all of a sudden it's like, ew, what's this suck it up and drive on? I want to cry, I want to weep, I don't want to keep score. It's like when that bullet comes at you, somebody's keeping score.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the recruitment goal for the Army has not been met.
They were under staff.
What would be some of the reasons that they're having issues recruiting this new generation of warfighters?
Well, you don't have the sense of patriotism. You don't have the sense of duty, honor, and country. You don't have a sense of, I need to stand up and be supportive of my country. It's far different in Israel where everybody serves.
But before we went on air, you were talking some specifics.
Yes, absolutely. And see,
medical issues.
Sure. What happens is when you can't get the people you need and you're beating on your recruiters to get them,
lower the standards.
You lower the standards, exactly. You lower the standards. So you're going to say, okay, criminal behavior, let's just put that aside. Smoking and doping and all that other stuff, let's put that aside. Let's excuse these little court issues that we got in your record. Let's take it's a personality disorder. Everybody has a personality. So let's bring the disorder on active duty. And then all of a sudden, in the old military, Joe something, the ragman, is there, and you have to deal with it. I know when I was a leader on active duty, of course, I spent 80% of the time on 20% of the problem children.
80% of the time on 20% of the problem.
And I would suspect that's probably growing to about 90% of the time.
But you also talked about, maybe you can relate with some of your young soldiers, coming in, being on medicine, or soon after they get on board, they're placed on some sort of medicine that might have been disqualifying in the past.
Very interesting, because back in the day, I would say that maybe 50% of folks, coming on active duty had some level of ADHD. They were high-speed troopers. They were like, go, 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 and they'd run for hours and hours and hours. We know, if you read the good book about the bipolar general, it's preceded by ADHD. Hyperactive, go, 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 and the military environment reinforces that. Kind of interesting that now, if you have any record of ADHD in your history before coming on active duty, you're excluded. You can't come on active duty if you're taking Ritalin, if you're taking Adderall, if you're taking a medicine for ADHD. So that wipes out a large portion of our high-speed troopers. Unfortunately, though, once you're on active duty, we find that almost a third of the people on active duty are taking some psychotropic medication. So obviously something happens between when they were recruited and when they're actually on active duty.
Before, you will refer to, if you're an NCO, you will refer anyone that is not an NCO yet, you will refer to them as lower enlisted. Now you cannot say lower enlisted, because if you say lower, it's low. Now you gotta say junior enlisted. Yeah, and little things like that, I don't know the medical opinion on that. It maybe matters, maybe don't. But I think we're supposed to be the strongest, military in the world. We're supposed to be, right? We have the record of that. Now, what I noticed too, not the medical perspective, but what I noticed too, in my opinion, there's three types of soldiers that, want to join because, number one, they want to serve, they're patriots, and they want to serve the flag and serve the country and take care of their families while serving the country. And they have that selfless service in them.
Okay.
And then you have the one that only join for the education benefits. So they just scared, I want to get my degree done, I'm just gonna wing it, and they have that mindset. And there's a lot of, probably a large group of people that are just there for the military. It's okay.
Serve one term, get out, accomplish your goal.
And the third one might sound a little heavy and strong, but you have the ones, and this is not that big number, but you have the ones that join, they wanna shoot, and they will volunteer. Mm-hmm. Because you go to tour of duty and sign up for any mission right now, and there's people that will volunteer every other year or something like that, and have in 20 years 22 deployments. And you're like, how is that even possible? Well, they volunteer for everything, and if they qualify, they qualify. Some people just join for the license to, like James Bond. I don't want to say it here because we get them canceled. But it is crazy. The cancel culture is being somehow being added to the military. I believe that we should not adopt that. Oh no, we can't say that because we offend somebody. Like, we're supposed to be the strongest force in the planet. And if we keep catering this way, how our military is going to be in the next 10 years? I'm really concerned about that.
Very important point, and there's a pressure that builds. You're talking about, we're bringing in less qualified people, we're lowering the standards in order to bring in these less qualified people. But on the other end, what we're doing is increasing the intensity. We're talking Iraq, we're talking Afghanistan, we're talking Saudi Arabia, we may be talking China, we may be talking the Soviet Union, we may be talking all over the world. We're increasing the intensity of the missions. We're increasing the intensity and the pressure on these individuals. So with lower standards, they're going to break a little bit easier. I often say to my veterans, coming on active duty is like a sponge. You come on, you're full of energy, you're excited, you're ready to go, and then all of a sudden you serve 1, 2, 3 tours of combat. You're like a sponge, and we just take and start to wring you out. We start to wring you out. We need more. I know one veteran who spent 36 months in straight combat between Iraq and the Korengal Valley. Let's wring you out. Let's get you the last drop out of you. And then what do? We throw you away and say next. And young soldiers who are looking at this say, I don't want to be wrung out. I'm out of here. The good soldiers say, I can go get a job at Harris Corporation. I can go get a job driving taxi, and it's better than this, driving Uber. So we're wearing them out. we're getting less qualified people, and then we're increasing the pressure of the missions, and it's a big squeeze.
We've identified some problems with our military, both recruitment and retention. You guys give a quick synopsis of maybe how we can overcome those obstacles.
It's a tough call because, again, society has trained people. We don't have suck it up and drive on anymore. We have new programs that are resource based. We have things that are called now in the military. There is no suck it up and drive on anymore. You know what it's called? It's called resiliency training. You need to be resilient in your family, resilient in your spirituality, resilient in your finances, resilient in your combat. We have resiliency training. We train. We've softened the words, from suck it up and drive on. We've softened it to kind of match the generation that's coming in. It's like, no, I don't want to stay in a barracks. I want to stay in a nice apartment. Those kind of things. And so we've kind of catered to them. And that takes the edge off of, unless you're in special ops or special forces, that takes the edge off of real soldiering. So we need to get back to real soldiering. We need to get back to, being able to knock out a few push-ups here and there and not say, oh, well, today you're not going to get your Cheerios. I mean, we need to be a little bit more serious about that. And we also need to take care of our service members so that we can recognize when they're burned out and not send them on 36 months of straight combat. So we're going to be paying them when they're 38 years old. Young gentleman I just worked with, 100% disability. He has 13 names of the guys he lost at the Korengal Valley tattooed on his back. We're going to be paying him 100% disability, and we're going to be paying them Social Security disability for the rest of their lives. We're talking millions of dollars.
Because, like you said,
they're run out. They're worn out.
Say something.
He hit a point that I identified. The good soldier, the burned out happens a lot, and I realize this. And you have that soldier that is always a go-getter, and gets stuff done, and then, without even thinking about it, we punish that soldier by giving him more.
Yes.
Because right now you have, let's say, my squad that I have 13 people, and I have one NCO that I know if I tell the NCO to knock something out, I know it will happen. And sometimes we take a good person and mess it up. So I love what the doctor said about that. That sponge example is amazing. And sometimes we're guilty of that.
We need to give them respite in between. We need to pull them out. I recently talked with...
Let me break in, because we're running low on time. You mentioned the sponge. In past episodes of Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country, you used brain imaging. Is this what a messed up brain would look like after 36 months?
It's going to have holes in it. It's going to have holes in it. And everybody needs respite. At all levels. I just talked with Colonel O'Leary. He was a psychologist who went forward into the Korengal Valley and treated the troops there. I'm so proud of Army psychology. He went forward and stayed with them for a month and treated them there. He's still on active duty. He's currently serving as the command psychologist for the 1st Special Operations Command. He said, when I came out of Afghanistan, I needed respite. The Army sent me to be training director at Triple Army Medical Center in Hawaii to train the other psychologists. Gave him his respite. That's how we need to do it. We need to manage our people better. We need to realize when they're stressed and stretched. We need to take care of them, rejuvenate them, and then they can go back to taking care of others.
Hey, this is Heal the Warrior, Heal the Country on American Warrior Radio. You need to share this stuff, please. We're all volunteers. Nobody's getting a paycheck. Take this information and throw it out among your friends, colleagues, workers, people you go to school, wherever. Get it out there. Have them subscribe to the YouTube channel, because then they will learn from Dr. Scott Fairchild, my good buddy John Lopez, who produces American Warrior Radio, and my humble self, Garrencone, how we can combat and overcome. All right? So that's what it's about. Until next time, don't forget, thank AVET. Hi everyone, it's Garrencone with American Warrior Radio. I'm here with my good friend Christian. We're here to deliver a very important message about a crisis in our land.
Suicide prevention, more specifically, veteran suicide prevention.
22 a day are taking their own lives. This must stop. This can't continue. If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, please know that God has tomorrow planned for you. Don't take your own life, and just remember, suicide is a permanent solution
to a temporary problem.